Hey guys, I'm back here, day 81. It is 73 degrees and the temperature is rising. I'm in the Nike Lebron 10 Elites today. Here they are from the side and from the other side. I like shoe history. I like the development of shoe technology and all of that. And there's no way in the world I could ever own like all the shoes in the world, right? And who the heck would want to do that? But one of the things that I do is I start looking at like benchmarks of different shoes. Like for instance, you might have a whole lineage of LeBrons through generations. Who knows what number they're on now, 20 something, you know. And it would be nice, like what I would do is I would look and find what's the consensus of what are some of the best LeBrons that were ever made, and then I would consider those as benchmark shoes. Whether or not they're good or whether or not I like them is neither here nor there. It's just a matter of what is the consensus of most people. And then oftentimes I will look at lines of shoes from different athletes, and it might not be a benchmark shoe, but there might be something about the design that I really love, or some sort of feature within the shoe that I'm drawn to. I grew up as an NBA fan as a kid, and I don't know what it was, but pretty much from the point in time that LeBron James started coming into the league, I just was not a fan of what I was seeing, and eventually the interest that I had in the NBA just went to the wayside. The changing of the rules and the changing of the game, it wasn't the basketball that I grew up with, and it wasn't really pleasant to watch. And it's still a struggle today for me to get behind any NBA team and really I don't know, the game is just vastly different, and it's not for the better. Objectively, I have to respect what he has been able to do as an athlete. I just don't really respect some of how he has played the game with the I'm just going to stop myself and let his work just represent what it is. You know, I think the majority of people know. So over the years, I've definitely had less of an interest in his shoes overall. And when I really started to take a deeper dive into available shoes out on the market, I knew that the LeBron line was not something that I could completely ignore, because it is one of the longest lasting shoe lines. But as I started looking, I wasn't all that impressed. The shoes themselves, just speaking objectively, are big and bulky, and I'm not really a fan of all of that. They just have big designs. They're just really out there as far as the material build. Granted, you've got like a lot of materials in these shoes. They are maximalist designs, but I am not a fan of all of that. Now, this pair came highly recommended as one of the best LeBron out there, and so I have to, again, objectively go ahead and try them out, get them and try them out, and give some honest feedback on them. And so I can honestly say I don't like them. Let's get into it. Aesthetically, I don't think they're like that bad. The colors are electric blue, electric orange on this colorway. And my son saw them today. He's 6, and he got excited. He's like, those are my favorite colors. And then I said, well, I kind of hate it. And my wife and my mother-in-law said, they don't look bad. Like, okay, well, they don't look bad. The problem I have with it is mostly in the upper. It is extremely stiff. I don't know what kind of material they use to make this, but it is extremely unforgiving. One could not criticize this for being a cheaply designed shoe. There's a lot of technology in here with the fly wire, and you've got quality, thick laces, material, but the end result is just kind of this heavy, stiff, boot-like shoe. Again, the shoe is very stiff. So around the ankle. When I got the shoes, I could see that the ankle collar was kind of compressed, as though it was maybe had been something heavy had been sitting on it in a closet or something. It was sitting sideways, and it was just kind of molded to that shape, whatever it was. And so when I store these shoes, I actually roll up a t-shirt and I stuff it in the shoe and completely expand that collar out in an attempt to kind of bend it back the other way. And sadly, it's just not doing that. So what that means for me is, in the right foot, I have this hard plastic handle that is pressing up directly on the ankle, and it is not pleasant. Now, I don't know if it's going to form a blister or something, because I don't really feel it moving that much, because I was able to get at least some decent lockdown on the shoe, but it is still kind of pressing into that ankle, and it really sucks. But it's not just the ankle. When I was putting the shoe on, you could feel it on that midfoot, the top of the midfoot. It was just I don't know, it was kind of cutting in the materials there. Again, not pleasant at all. There is a full length Zoom unit. I'm not really sure if it's Zoom Air, but I know that there is an air unit that runs the full length of that shoe. It's nothing to write home about. Like, I wouldn't describe these as like bouncy shoes or anything. I am not really a fan of Air Max technology, and they don't feel like rocks. I can't say that they feel as bad as some earlier shoes, but these just feel basic, honestly. And there's nothing really basic about the design or what they've put into it, because there's a lot of thought. Like, someone put a lot of effort into the design of the shoe, with the ventilation cutouts and fly wire and all of that, getting a decent lockdown, even that cushion technology. Someone put a lot of work into it, but the end result, it feels kind of basic. From a plantar fasciitis standpoint, I don't feel like the shoes are doing much to aggravate it, but they're not doing much to alleviate it. It is a very neutral feeling shoe, despite having that air cushion all the way through. It does not really feel like you're walking on air cushion. I have somewhat of a wide foot, not too bad though, and these fortunately don't feel really compressed on the sides too much or in the toe box, so I do appreciate that. And I do appreciate the stability in the shoe. Like, I do feel like it's a very stable shoe. And if I'm looking at it from a perspective of being out on the court, and if I have players that jump and come down and land on top of my foot or something, these things are about as close to a steel-toed shoe that you're going to have in basketball that you could get. These things are built like a tank. So I can see why someone would be drawn to this shoe. I'm just not that person. An update on the weight loss, things aren't going so good. I always keep it transparent, and truth is, I snacked again for a third night in a row. Man, that is a quick snowball. So the last time, the way that I got out of it is I would at night drink green tea, and I would have like just a small piece of frozen high percentage cacao dark chocolate, and that would like satisfy like a crunch craving that I would have. So I'm gonna have to fall back on that for sure. And then yesterday I was out with family, and we had Chinese. The only thing that I can say as a redeeming part of that meal was that I drank water. I don't think it'll necessarily mess me up for the entire week, as long as I can get back on track for the rest of today. Kentucky plays Iowa State today at 2:45. This one's going to be a tough one, and I hate being in a position where I'm worried about a team like Iowa State. And that's not me trying to really take anything away from Iowa State. It's actually me just kind of having this more or less ragging on my own team, because we should be a whole lot better than that. For those of you who don't understand, that's the expectation that this state puts on the program. Like, the expectation is that you need to be at the top of the game every single year. Kind of like Alabama football with Nick Saban. Like, you can be good throughout your year, but good isn't good enough. Like, the expectation is greatness, and no logical Kentucky fan expects the team to win a championship every year, but we do expect the team to contend for one every year, honest to God. But recently, as a Kentucky fan, it's been extremely frustrating, you know, rather than being at the top and competing with the top blue bloods in the sport and keeping it competitive with high-level teams. We're getting blown out. We haven't been competitive in years. It's been extremely frustrating. And now the concern is getting blown out by Iowa State in the round of 32. That's really not Kentucky basketball. I'm glad we got to that point. That's better than Calipari produced within the last few years, but it's still, Mark Pope supposedly knows the assignment. So hopefully we can get it. Unless a miracle happens, though, won't be this year. I'm about 50 minutes into the shoe. Just my biggest complaint is that panel on the right side near the ankle that's just cutting, like just absolutely cutting into the ankle. If I have to take a step that's slightly on the incline on that outside edge, it pushes that wedge right up into the ankle, and it is excruciating. I think I'm going to have to go home, get some pliers, and freaking manually bend and twist that section out of that shoe or something. Like, I'm going to have to do something. Otherwise, the shoe really isn't that bad. It's just very bulky and very stiff. But yeah, I've got about 15 more minutes of the walk left to do. But I think that's going to do it for me today. I will hopefully see you all out here tomorrow, and hopefully I won't be so winded and all of that. But as the temperature rises, I'm really not looking forward to these walks. The sun already, to me, is very brutal. Fat guys don't like heat. That's just how it goes. All right, later.